That 70s superstar, Danny Masterson, has been found guilty of rape in a court of law and will be spending the next 30 years to life in jail. Now, this could have been a longer sentence if the sentence would have ran consecutive versus concurrent, but he is not eligible for parole for the next 30 years. Now, this video, we are going to break down the apology video that we saw from Ashton and Mila over the weekend, and I am going to get some information from you folks on, do we think that this is a heartfelt apology, or was it an apology because it was going to hurt their career? So that being said, before we jump into that video, I want to make sure that if you're a first time here, you hit that subscribe button down below as we are growing. Leave a comment if you like the content, or if you have your own theories or perspectives. We love to view different theories and perspectives on the channel. And then leave a like if you like the video so we can get it out to more people. Like I said, we are growing and we're doing a fantastic job of that. So this video really spawned from a live stream that I did over the weekend where we were talking mostly about Ellen DeGeneres and Jimmy Fallon. We did go pretty deep into Danny Masterson and what happened at trial and some of the background. We're not going to do that for this video, as this video is spawning from that live stream. And the question that I'm going to ask you today is, do we feel that when celebrities give an apology that it comes across as sincere? Or do we think that celebrities only apologize because, one, they've either been caught, or two, they think it's gonna hurt their brand / reputation in the future? And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna start off by watching some of these apology videos that have happened in the last 2 years or so, and then we're gonna ask a few questions. After that, we're gonna play Ashton and Mila's version of an apology video, and we're gonna break that down a little bit and talk a little bit about Ashton and Mila as character witnesses. So let's start by watching some of these apology videos. Cue it up now.
Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk.
Begin by saying a few words directly to racialized Canadians who face discrimination every single day in their lives, even in a country like Canada. What I did hurt them. Hurt people who shouldn't have to face intolerance and discrimination because of their identity. This is something that I deeply, deeply regret.
All right, let's get to it. As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show. This is the Ellen DeGeneres Show. I am Ellen DeGeneres. My name is there. My name is there. My name is on underwear.
The subsequent apology video was widely mocked and considered insincere.
I am truly sorry that Pistol and Boo were not declared. Protecting Australia is important.
Declare everything when you enter Australia.
After watching that video, the question that I have for you folks, do you think that all of them were sincere? Out of the ones that we watched, which ones did you think were sincere and which ones did you think weren't sincere? And based off of those videos, would you believe the apology that these folks are giving, or do you think they're only apologizing because they got caught, or they had a momentary lapse in judgment in like Will Smith's case where he ends up slapping Chris Rock? Do we think that that was right or wrong? And is he just apologizing because he had an opportunity to think through it and really feels that apology? Or do you think that it's hurting some of the brand recognition that some of these folks have? The one that I want to kind of highlight a little bit, and this spawned from the video that I did from our live stream, was the Ellen DeGeneres Show, where I was really feeling that apology until she says the underwear piece at the end. And in the entire apology piece, there's a lot of jokes that are being made. Now I get it, Ellen is a comedian and she may not have known how to deal with some of the workplace toxicity that has been going on for a period of time. And we see that with Jimmy Fallon as well. He hasn't given an apology on video yet, so I didn't include that here, but that was in my live stream if you want to go back and watch that and see what our take is on that. So based off of all of that, we've seen a few different apology videos come from celebrities. The one that I would say was kind of the biggest joke was probably the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard apology for when they imported their dogs into Australia, didn't bring those dogs through custom, and didn't have their dogs go through the quarantine period, and they kind of blew it off. Amber Heard could have went to jail for 10 years over that, and she ends up getting has to do a video, and then I think it was a stayed sentence of 30 days or whatever the case was. But that video was kind of a joke. It was kind of a publicity stunt, in my opinion. I wasn't there, so I don't know. So where would we rate the Ashton and Mila video? If you go back to my live stream, I really wish I would have waited one day to do that live stream, because we were watching some of these videos prior, and you know, I said in that stream, this ain't it. This was not the thing to do. You know, obviously they were friends with Danny Masterson, and really they spent a lot of time on set together, right? So first things first, before we watch this video, I do want to say that character witnesses or character letters are very common in court cases, both for victims and the accused. So we want to get that out there. Now, I'm sure Danny Masterson, from a family perspective, had a lot of letters that were sent to the judge, and I'm sure he's got a lot of fans, especially for how popular he is, that had sent character witness and character statements into the judge. I can't confirm that, but I would have to make that assumption based on how popular he is. That all being said, I didn't think it was right for Ashton and Mila to do that, because they are role models for a lot of people out in the real world. And I think Ashton, with the work that he has done trying to protect little kids from sex trade, is a very important piece, where now does that take some credibility away from him based off of what he did in this letter. So before we go any further into that, let's watch the apology video together and go from there.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years, so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read, and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, or rape.
Okay, now that we've watched that together, first things first, I want to give shout out to page 6. That's where I got the video from. The original video I watched on Twitter, and I just couldn't pull it down properly. So based off of that video, one, I want to hear your take. Do you feel that this was a sincere apology? Do you think Ashton and Mila come out and do this apology video just for the backlash on itself, or do you think that they're actually sorry for writing this letter? Do you think that maybe it was just a lapse in judgment from a perspective that they didn't understand the scope of the accusations that were being made about Danny Masterson? Or do you truly believe that they thought that he was going to come back innocent? Now, to be fair, the letters did show up to the court before Danny Masterson was found guilty, and we live in the US where you are presumed innocent until found guilty. So would we give some credibility back to that? Now, I go back and ask the same question I did before we watched that video with Ashton and his organization, even going in front of Congress talking about saving children. I'm going to play that clip now.
I'm here today to defend the right to pursue happiness. It's a simple notion, the right to pursue happiness. It's bestowed upon all of us by our Constitution. Every citizen of this country has the right to pursue it. And I believe that it is incumbent upon us as citizens of this nation, as Americans, to bestow that right upon others, upon each other, and upon the rest of the world. But the right to pursue happiness for so many is stripped away. It's raped. It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion. It is sold for the momentary happiness of another.
Does that take credibility away from Ashton, what he's doing there? Or do you think they're two separate things and it is what it is? So here's my thoughts on the whole video. I did not think that it was tasteful for Ashton and Mila to send that character letter in to the judge. Based off all of that, there's a couple of things that we need to consider when we talk about this character letter that's sent into the judge. One, Danny Masterson was innocent until proven guilty. He has had his day in court, and as a matter of fact, he had 2 mistrials before he was found guilty. So I would say he's even had more than his fair share of days in court, okay? 2, is it the right of Ashton and Mila, and should that letter have stayed private? Or was it a leak that ends up showing that they sent this character letter in? 3, do we think that Ashton and Mila are apologizing because they didn't think that it was the right thing to do? Or are they apologizing because they are trying to minimize some of the brand damage that may have been taken place? Or do we really think it was a lapse in judgment and maybe they didn't understand what the scope was of their friend Danny Masterson and the accusations that were against him? Or did they know more and had conversations with Danny and were trying to save him? These are all things that we don't know. Here's my opinion on the video. I really do think that they realize what they've done. I don't know if it's changed their perception of Danny himself, but I do like the fact that they come out and talk about the victims and that they weren't trying to discount or disclaim any of the accusations that were coming from the victims. Now, would this be hurtful to the victims? Yeah, I think it would be for sure. Anybody that would have to endure a rape and then have to go relive it so many years after, this is going to be really difficult. And in Danny Masterson's case, he was very wealthy. You hear a lot about the Church of Scientology backing him up and trying to make these claims go away. Now, I don't know anything about Scientology, so if you do, please leave some comments down below. I would love to learn more about it. I've done a lot of research, but I just really don't understand the way that it works. Or how the church works in the fact of trying to make these claims go away. So I would definitely like to have some more input on that. Did this video land well with the user? Because they are taking a lot of flack, right? Now, I would say up until this point, I always looked at Ashton as, you know, a role model for sure. Ashton's done a lot of good things in his career up to this point. He's always seemed like a person that, you know, cared for kids, and this is a different scenario, different situation. I do agree with that. At the same time, we are seeing a lot of clips come out with him being younger and even Mila being underage, and we don't know what's going on with that. A lot of stuff is implied, so I'll be curious to find out, you know, is there other things that we're gonna find out about Ashton himself? And one of the victims actually comes out and says she knows something. She doesn't say what, but she knows something about Ashton and that information could be released. So what are we gonna learn in the case of Ashton and Mila? And is this all going to be spawned from this video? So again, I want to hear from you. If you've stayed this long in this video, please make sure you subscribe down below. We are growing that subscriber base. Our videos are getting a little bit more popular. And I also want to thank everybody for your perspectives and theories. The comment section has been a lot of fun lately, especially with a lot of the theories that are coming across. I try to make sure that I take all perspectives and theories into consideration. It may not change what my theory and perspective is by any means, but I do give it 100% attention so that way I can read through it, do some research on it, and in some cases it might change, in some cases it may not, but I do respect that all of the comments have been great. Whether or not you agree with my perspective or theories, I think that the comments have been very respectful, and I appreciate having a community that's willing to do that. So that being said, hit that subscribe button down below. Let's get it. Let's leave some comments and hit that like. We want to get this video out to as many people as possible. I'm your host, Tim Solberg. Over and out.